Yeah, that's bucolic, isn't it? Some goats. Hi, I'm John Deck from Deck Family Farm, and we have a 320-acre diversified livestock farm in Junction City, Oregon. And we've done a number of different stewardship projects on the land in the last 20 years, and it's been great, but it's also been a challenge. This grain buggy is what we use to deliver feed to our laying hens. When the gearboxes become separated, it doesn't work anymore. I mean, some projects are built for government funding, you know, that there's incentives out there. And then there's other projects as a farmer you end up having to do on your own. And so if you work with the Working Lands program and find a navigator to help you, you can navigate some of the challenges that we've encountered along the way. Let's go take a look at some of the projects. We have really hot, dry summers here in Oregon, and we have to irrigate all this pasture. So this is our pod-style irrigation system, which we installed 2 years ago. And the system for us was fantastic because we didn't have to pay for it. And since we've installed it, I did a calculation where we saved 4.3 million gallons of water a month just on our farm. But somehow miraculously, through a more efficient irrigation system, we're able to keep our pastures green and growing even better than we did before. It's time to get more cows. Yeah, this farm has a lot of gates. The livestock, when they graze, naturally want to go to the creek side. So what we've done is we've fenced them out of the creek in order to enhance the water quality, and we've planted trees. And so you can see there's ponderosa pine, we planted alder and poplar. We did not want to use any herbicide whatsoever, which I think was a noble thought. I would say the difficulties we had mainly were with blackberries and thistle plants. Yes, it's a berry trellis. So despite some of the troubles we had on our first project, we did another project 5 years later on Turnbow Creek, and we did some things somewhat differently in that project. You probably like this transition. Here we're gonna go, I'm gonna open a gate. I love this gate. This used to be better. One thing we did here is we planted 5 times more plants than we did in Owens Creek. And we also used some spray. So we removed that specific area out of our organic plan, and we sprayed the first several years. After 3 years from the last spray, we were able to put this back into our organic certification. So I think I'm a lot happier with the results in this project here, because you'll see there's a lot of stuff going on. There's trees, there's shrubs, there's not very many blackberries. The cool thing actually, what I've seen is the birds love to perch high up in the trees, and they'll go hunting out in the field. You know, so you see this interaction between the farmed field and nature. So it's a fun thing to watch while you're cutting hay. There's a lot of coyotes. There's a cougar, bear, bobcat, fox.
Help with that too?
The dogs help, yeah. They'll say to the coyotes, sheep are that way. You know what's the best way to look at this bridge? This is the bridge. It's a strong bridge. We drive manure spreaders across this bridge. We drive gravel trucks. We drive log trucks. We've driven every kind of heavy truck. This bridge was a replacement for a culvert that used to be here. During the middle of winter, the heavy flows, water would come down Owens Creek, flood up to the top of the culvert, and then spill out into the fields around the farm. And it was also a fish passage barrier. So with the help of the Tom Watershed Council and some government agencies, we replaced it with a bridge here. We no longer have these big floods, and it allows us to make better use of the grass. So we've seen cutthroat trout up and down the creek. We've seen river otter in the creek. So it's good for the fish and also good for the farmers as well. So all farms and all landscapes are different. How do we work with the existing natural systems? How do we generate a profit? It's helpful to be able to know what you can ask for. What are the tools you have at your disposal? So we haven't been able to find free money for everything. Yeah. Unfortunately, that would be great. But you could find funding and help for a lot of things though. There's a lot of challenges in farming. There's also a lot of rewards, and you can accomplish a lot of these things too with the help of Working Lands.